Hello and welcome to Twisted Dice on a Wednesday night. Tonight I've got myself, Darren, and we have got Sean and we have got John on the show. Say hello, lads.
Hello.
Hello, lads.
Hello, lads. And that was a poor hello, Sean. I was hoping for something more energised, more oomph in that hello.
Hello.
As you can see, we're gonna have an awesome show tonight. Hopefully, we'll get more than 3 words from Sean tonight. I know he's eager and very excited to talk about the new codex, the new cool toys that he has got to his arsenal, and the fact he's managed to dig out some of his old, beautifully painted Space Marines. So, and it's been awesome and an absolute pleasure to see an actually fully painted army from Sean on the tabletop as well. It's been absolutely a godsend. And he's got some really, really cool toys to play with as well. And if you can see from his little lovely face there that he's very happy with that himself. So, we want to start tonight's show off by saying a massive great thank you to everyone who's taken part in getting Twisted Dice up to 5,000 subs. We've just hit that magical number of 5k, and we are very, very excited that we've got there, and B, all the support you guys out there and girls have given us by hitting that like and subscribe to the channel. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing what we're doing, and we really do appreciate everyone taking part on that. Look at Sean's little lovely face.
I'm just laughing. You corrected yourself. You said girls, and then you went back and said, "Thank you, guys."
Guys and girls. Look, from all of us, we want to say a massive great thank you on that, because we really do appreciate. It's been absolutely awesome. It's been a really, really cool journey. But we also want to say an even bigger thank you to all the Patreons to the channel. Again, you guys have been absolutely awesome. You've given us that little bit extra money to help make the show work. Helping us get some extra bits in for the studio. It's been absolutely massive. So we just want to say a bigger thank you to you guys for that little bit extra support, because we really do appreciate it. Coming back to the sub side, as always, as soon as we hit 1,000 subs, we always like to do a little giveaway. So it's going to be the same thing again. We're going to be looking to give a start collecting box set of your choice. Now this time we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to do this until the end of September. But if we manage to get up to 6,000 subs between now and the end of September, we'll be giving away 2 start collecting box sets to 2 separate people. So there's an opportunity for 2 lots of people to win a start collecting box set. And all you've got to do to enter this is just by hitting, liking and subscribing to the channel. That is it. Nice and easy, nice and simple. And then we'll be doing hopefully we'll be doing a live giveaway on Twitch on the Wednesday night, and announce the winner live. And I think that'd be really, really cool. Anything you want to add to that, guys?
Oh, I think, as you said, big thank you to everybody who helped out, whether it's liking the videos, sharing the content, subscribing, hitting the bell, all that, or the guys on Patreon. It is much appreciated. And is this our second year? It is our second year, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, we're 2 years out.
Goes quickly, doesn't it? 5,000. It feels really strange when I tell people at work. I'm like, yeah, part of a YouTube channel that has 5,000 subscribers, and they don't believe me. And then I show them, and then they're like, oh wow. And then I have to explain it's toy soldiers as well. That's an interesting conversation. I was telling them about the LVO today, and they were like, I was like, yeah, it's like the biggest, wargaming but tournament in the world. And they were like, how many people go? And I was like, thousands. They were like, really?
It's funny. I have that same conversation with the guys at my work as well. And when I explain to them what I do, they're like, wow, really? You're not grown up yet? I go, nope. Still playing with toy soldiers. Yeah. And then as soon as you say you've hit 5,000 subs
that one's
on
really
YouTube,
good. They go boom.
It's brilliant, because as soon as I say I'm hitting, we've hit 5,000, they're like, oh, cool. So you're going to be quitting your job and you can make loads of money? Like, nah.
Not just yet.
It's about the love and the passion and the enjoyment we get from making battle reports, and it's cool from getting the interaction from others as well, because that's been really cool. I think that's probably my best part of the journey is the interaction. I think that's absolutely awesome, and it's helped my gameplay as well. Crazy as that sounds,
No,
doing
it has,
battle
mate.
reports, getting the feedback on all the battle reports we've been doing. All the mistakes or something that we've missed or something that we can improve on. It's been absolutely awesome getting that feedback from the comments. That's been, for me, absolutely awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So-
I mean, from my point of view, I've been doing YouTube now for sort of close to 7 years now.
You invented YouTube, didn't you, John?
Yeah, I'm that old. I invented it absolutely back in the day. So I've been doing it now for sort of just under 7 years, and the last 2 years have just been like a dream, because it's been lovely being part of a team. So the first sort of 5 years, I did it all on my own, and being part of a team has been like really special, because it's been a nice kind of part, to be able to share that kind of journey with other people. So yeah, it's been, and I think, as the guys have said, there's no way we couldn't have done it without the support that we've had, both from just the subscribers, and from the patrons, who have been absolutely amazing. They've kind of kept us going with some like incredibly positive feedback. So yeah, and I mean, we're just getting started. So what you're seeing now, guys, is just the very, very start of what we've got planned. So it's a great place to be. Twisted Dice is definitely very much up and coming, and if everything goes to plan, you should just see us go from strength to strength. So hopefully you're very much listening to this in the golden age, because things are just kicking off, and we've got so much planned. So thank you very much. We're really, really excited for what the future holds for us. And yeah, if you haven't already, please do hit that sub button. And if you want to get even more involved and be part of this wonderful world of Twisted Dice, then do become a Patreon member, because those guys are amazing, and there's always room for more. So yeah, long may it continue, lads.
That's it. Yeah, so that's pretty much that. So, guys, what you've been up to this week?
Who's
Or
kicking
what
off?
have you been up for the last 2 weeks? Because obviously
Who are you asking?
we've had a little week off with the Gremlins.
Who's going to kick things off then, eh?
Yeah. John, you go first.
All right, I'll go first. Right. So, by the way, guys, just to kind of let you know, if you listen to this back and I don't sound myself, it's because about 2 hours ago I decided to poke myself in the eye with some paperwork. So I had a freak accident, and I am suffering hugely from the consequences. So if I sound a little bit, a little bit quieter and not my normal self, that's why. So apologies.
This would be the episode titled "How John Lost His Eye." People will go back to listen to it.
Honestly, mate, I'm telling you, like, fingers crossed it's not going to be the case.
He's been painting up Thousand Suns now for the last couple of weeks, right? So do you think he's taken it that one step further? And
Yeah, I've got the
trying to
Magnus.
become Magnus?
So, yeah, maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's the true reality of it. But yeah, I mean, so I suppose what I'm doing at the moment. So I'm doing quite a lot of terrain building behind the scenes. So we've got some beautiful pre-painted MDF terrain from one of our sponsors, Game@EU, and it's amazing. I'm looking forward to kind of seeing it in all its glory on the mat. But we're building that for one of our up and coming tournaments, which we're going to talk about in a bit. So I've been doing a bit of that. I do, if I'm being brutally honest, find that terrain building is soul destroying, and I cannot stand it. So thankfully, I don't have to do it that much. And then what I've also been doing is I've been working on Knights, Chaos Knights. So I finished my own one, my Atropos, beginning part of the week. So that was cool. Got him ready and I can't wait to get him on the table. And now I am working on our very own Fabius's Chaos Knights. So I pretty much finished his despoiler today. I've got a few last little bits of detail to put in, but that's almost finished.
Is that a commission bit?
Yeah, so I mean it's for a friend, so it's not quite a commission, but yeah.
I must employ your services.
Well, If I had all the
like a
time in the
painted up brick.
world for them,
It's nice when you do something for a friend, Sean.
All right, yeah. Where's that going? That feels like a poor little comment.
It's very nice when you do something for a friend. It's it's really cool. It's really awesome.
but yeah. So working on that. That's for part of Fabius's army for No Retreat. So I've got a bit of a deadline on that. So I'm working on that. But that's all. That's all pretty simple, pretty straightforward. The great thing is. The main reason why I'm doing it is not because I'm the greatest painter in the world. It's because Sarah Brady, who started Fabius's Night, is one of my inspirations for my painting style. She was the one that designed my Tyranid High Fleet, and she very much paints in my style with very vivid, bright colours, with like the lines and the quite stark contrasts. So when she's had a bit of tendonitis in her wrist, and then I think she's got kind of a bit like hobby burnt out, or she doesn't want to do it anymore. So when she sent Fabius's stuff back to him and basically said that she's not going to be able to do it, me and him had a bit of a chat, and I'm pretty confident that I can replicate the look, and it's so far so good. It's looking all right. So yes. So the plan is that I will kind of carry on where she left off, and he should have a fully operational Knights detachment for his Thousand Sons for No Retreat.
You'd be happy with that.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. He's a fussy bugger, as is our Fabius. Yeah, well, he's a perfectionist. Is Fabius. So we've had lots of text messages back and forward, little tweaks and bits and pieces, but it's all good. So we're getting there. And then I'm having a little bit of a break off this evening, and I am building yet another tyrant, because I can never have enough flying hive tyrants, or just this case it's going to be a walking tyrant. So I think I've got about 11 tyrants now, and I'm building another one. So
Fair play.
Yeah,
so that's me. Enough tyrants, John.
That's right. You can never have enough tyrants. That's me. It's me.
Isn't this weird, right? I'm just going to share this because I'm doing it right now, but I've literally opened up Tiggy's book. So this will be on to like what I'm doing. And here's his instructions, right? There's 2 pages, right? But then you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The rest of it's rules. It's about 5 or 6 pages long. Isn't that mad?
What? He's got rules?
Yeah, look. All the rules in there. Look, 1, 2.
Yeah, they're all foreign, though.
Yeah, I know they're all foreign, but still, it's a bit like...
It's 1 page for each country. Right?
Yeah, I know, but like, is it really needed? Like, they got the books out now.
That's been unfair, John. You just burst his little bubble. He just thought he just found on some like gold, and you just shattered it for him. That's big.
I wouldn't really say that's gold, but it's more in the sense that it doesn't really make sense. Like, why put the rules in there? It's just kind of supposed to build them the sheet anyway. What I've been up to, so Space Marines have dropped, and I've bought the Codex and the supplement. I've been building up another Gilliman because I want to do that one. The first one's okay; it's not great. So that's really been it, and I've just kind of buried my head in the book, which kind of nicely leads on to Space Marines. Really, if you want to talk about that.
What have you been up to, Darren? Before we get on to Space Marines.
Mr. Allen.
Thanks,
I thought
John.
you went.
It's all right.
Sean, he likes to take it off topic.
I'll do a seamless little link there into you before we go off on a massive tangent.
Well, as we talked about earlier on, obviously we've got our tournament coming up in September, which is not far away now. We've got 2 weeks left.
Yeah.
2 weeks left. So the closing date now is official. So unfortunately, if anyone is looking to drop out, unfortunately at this point we can't refund back on the tickets, because unfortunately we have invested everything into Train and mats. And when I say we have invested into it, we have invested heavily in scenery and into mats. So those who are lucky enough to be on Twitch at the moment, this is probably some of the buildings that I'm working on at the moment. Just spent 3 days on a petrol station, trying out different techniques. Painting on MDF is not fun. Paint definitely plays differently upon MDF. But it's been cool. I've enjoyed painting this, but realistically, I can't go too much deep. The detail I've got on the petrol station is probably a bit too much, so I'm having to tone it down. Probably not go so much into too much detail on the train, but I still want it to look absolutely awesome for the tournament, because that's going to be really, really important. So look, we're really excited. We've got some really, really cool mats. We've got some really, really cool train ready for this, and then hopefully next week. Is it next week, John, or the week after? We're going to list or put together on who's going to be paired to who.
So what? Yeah, that won't be next week, but it'll be the week after. So it'll be the Wednesday before the tournament. We'll do the draw, the first round draw, and we'll do a bit of a list review session, which is always fun. Good to get a bit of banter and kind of talk through. So yeah, that'll be coming soon, but that won't be next week. That'll be the week after.
Week after.
Yeah, but it will be.
Time is flown.
But it will be next Saturday. I'll put a post for all the listening to this either back after the event or tonight. But the list submission will close next Saturday at midnight. So if you're not sure what you're going to take, it's time to start working it out, because you've not got long before you need to submit that. And I will be contacting everybody to get everybody registered on BCP over the coming week or so. So expect lots of communication coming out now, because we are fast coming up on the event, and it's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be good.
It's going to be an awesome event. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I suppose this is a great chance to obviously speak about the next event we've got planned. So in November, which is I can't remember now, John.
I'm gonna say the 16th or something like that. Hang on, let's see if I can bring up a little calendar or something, and I can let people know. Right. Again, sorry for the snibble in the snorting that I'm doing. It's really terrible for a podcast, but it's just because I am literally crying my eyes out at the moment as my eye decides it just wants to give the ghost. It is going to be the 16th and the 17th. And let me give this a little bit of a build up for you guys if you're listening back to this. So our last event sold out within a day. So we sold every single ticket within a day, and we had a waiting list straight off the bounce as well. All of our other events as well have been heavily subscribed to. So if you've missed out, and there will be quite a few people that did miss out on the last event, it is only going to be a 32-man event. We cannot go in the current venue any bigger than that. So tickets are going to be short. There's not going to be that many. And particularly as we offered for those players that played in our last one-dayer the opportunity to get early tickets, there are not going to be that many tickets left. So when these tickets go on sale, guys, you need to be hot on that. You need to get them straight away, because otherwise you're going to miss out. And kind of just to give you an exciting little tidbit of what is to come. Not only are we going to be running the same amazing terrain, amazing venue with a bar that's literally seconds away from where you're playing, with beautiful terrain, beautiful mats, and an amazing atmosphere. But also what we're going to do this time is we're going to be one of the very first tournaments that at a level of 32 players, we're not going to run 5 games. We're going to run 6 games. Yep, you heard that right. For your same entry fee, you're not going to get 5 games. You're going to get 6 games, which will be 3 on the Saturday and 3 on the Sunday. And what does that mean? What that means is not only you can afford to potentially drop 1 game and still be in the hunt for winning the whole event, which makes that very interesting, but also because it's 6 games and the way that the ITC works, it will actually be worth more points than events are a lot bigger because it's 6 games. So this event is going to be hot property. So if you've missed out on earlier events, do not miss out on this because it is going to go straight away. So all details will be on our Facebook page. We'll make sure that we build up to it over the next couple of days. But do not miss out on this. It is going to be big. Is that about right, guys? Does that work?
That's about right.
Have I sold it?
Be awesome.
Have I sold it?
You've sold it. You have sold it indeed, sir.
Right. That's all the energy I've got. I'm going to sit down and carry on building my Tyrant now.
So the other thing to add into the venue itself, as well as having a cool bar, as I say, right next to yourself, on the Saturday night, they have got entertainment that's going to be going on in the Legion.
Darren's singing. He's dancing.
Yeah, I don't think you'd want to get involved with that.
He's getting his famous mankini out. Be there.
Yep, I'm going to borrow John's luminous green one if you haven't already seen it. If you go back on an earlier Twitch, you can definitely find it up on there. It is there for the whole world to see.
I just wanted one to match Darren's.
Listen, I'm more than happy to get a Twisted Dice mankini.
Oh dear. Right, okay, we've derailed a little bit. Go on, carry on.
And it wasn't Sean derailing it neither.
No. Go on, carry on.
So that's the tournament side sorted out. So as I say, it's going to be really cool. So if you can come along to that one, it'd be absolutely awesome to see some new faces come along. And then
Friday,
next
tickets
year,
on sale, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Get your tickets. Don't miss out.
That's it. That's the promotional side sorted out. Let's move on. So Sean, I know this is one that you really want to start us talking about, and that is the new Space Marine Codex. I know obviously a couple of weeks ago John and Sean talked about the Codex just before the drop, but now we've had that opportunity to actually play with the Codex. We've actually had a chance to play with the Marines. There is some filth out of that Codex. There's some really, really cool toys. It's been an awesome couple of days just not using them, but going up against them and seeing what they can actually, pull out of the bag, because there is some awesome cool stuff in there. And of course, depending on whose hands they're in, they can be even more deadlier than what they are. So before we go any further, let's just see what we've got in the chat. So Krotgar, tell you what, lads, for each person from Twisted Dice podium at the STO, we've got to go 4th place. I'll get you a guaranteed Patreon. That's absolutely awesome. Just paid for the hotel. Now just finishing off some painting. Out of curiosity, does Ace know no one can see him? Yes. And the reason why we can't see him is because unfortunately he's like Blinky Bill, sat in the corner, crying out into a sock.
It's not pretty. It's not pretty, guys. So I'm gonna
into a sock.
I'm telling you, it's not pretty. So I'm gonna spare you that, and you will not see my beautiful face today because it is a damn mess. So apologies.
Oh.
It's a shame.
No, it's not, mate. It's not. It's a shame for entertainment value, but because
And then we've got another comment. Painting Gilliman right now. Funnily enough, we can't say the same for Sean. I think it'll probably be a couple of months before we see Gilliman being painted by Sean. It'd be really exciting to see. Are you actually doing this yourself, Sean? Or are you getting commissioned? It's done commissionally.
I have one commission on the go, which I'm speaking to the painter about what I'm going to do. And I think I'm probably going to do. That's a pretty big commission, so I think that's probably going to go on for a month or two. So I think I'll get that around Christmas time, and maybe if not a little after. So I need to come up with some concept ideas. But I've got my slot booked in, and I'm looking forward to that one. What else have we got? I'll probably just do Gilliman. I've got to do some Primera stuff, so I'm going to do that myself. Which nicely leads us into Space Marines. Are we talking about Space Marines? Are you going to build this up again?
No, we're going to talk about Space Marines. We're going to get straight into the nuts and crannies of
what the
Space
hell?
Marines.
What the hell is that? The nuts and crannies.
I mean, he's had some real wonders tonight.
That's a class one.
Let's get the road on the show.
Listen, I'm no wordsmith. I am what I am.
That's the best one. That's the best one.
What did he say again? Let's write that one down.
The nuts and crannies.
Oh man. Nuts and crannies.
We'll get it on a t-shirt.
Oh yeah. Please, actually, that's a new way.
That's a good T-shirt. That's a good T-shirt.
Cool.
I want a nuts and crannies T-shirt.
My God, where do you guys want to kick Space Marines off? How do you want to do this?
I don't know.
Do you want to talk through the code?
Get into the nuts and crannies first, Sean.
Sorry, say that again.
I said you can get into the nuts and crannies first, and I'll go from there.
I don't know where to start. I mean, you could talk about this for quite a few. Didn't we go through we went through the chapter tactics last time in the last podcast, didn't we?
We did.
So
look, Sean, after playing Space Marines last Saturday just gone, what was your first thoughts of the Ultramarines?
That's good, Darren. You take control, Darren. Take control.
Oh yeah, Darren, you take control here. Steer this in the right direction.
Come on, the good ship twisted dice. Come on, Darren, you've got this.
Thank you, John. If we don't, we'll be going around the houses.
I want to go to bed tonight. Right, go.
Or we'll be going in the houses. There you go.
Yeah,
say it the way Sean likes it.
Go.
So, what's your first thoughts of the new Space Marines Codex, Sean? Talk us through your first game of the Ultramarines. Obviously, don't tell the score because that will be available to a battle report that's coming up very, very soon. We did have a really, really cool game with the Ultramarines versus 1,000 Suns, and I might say it was no soup in that list neither. So both armies, no soup. It is a pure fraction army, and it was a good game. Really, really good game.
So the thing is, I turned up to Darren's, and we went and bought the codex, and we played the game. So I think we read it for about 2 or 3 hours, and we had a crazy game. And even a basic Marine army with drop pods and some grav and like Gilliman can be crazy, but I think with this one, it's going to be. I think Space Marines and the supplement codexes are going to be good, and I think in a competent player's hands, they're going to be exceptional. So we played the game, and then I went back and I read the relics and some of the things and the combos that you can put together in an Ultramarines army is like. It's really like Alpha Strike crazy. Like you could wipe a knight out if you wanted to in easily one turn. Like, I mean, there's a few units that we put the graph to the test against. And I think, Darren, you got to admit, like, it was scary crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah, look, the graph coming down from your guys. And then was it the cherubs that you had with them?
Yeah, so they basically they allow you to fire one heavy weapon for 5 points. You can fire one heavy weapon in the game twice. So basically, just reloads it really quickly, and I think that's such a nice thing for like a couple of points.
See, look, that on its own for obviously it's once per game, but that was just absolutely crazy. The fact you could just for. One of the grav, you could just reload and then just fire it again. And then you used a stratagem with it as well. So, was it re-roll all the wounds, or was it +1 to hit? I can't remember.
Yeah, you use I think it's gravitic amplification. So, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that you've seen who've used it. So, I think the way to run that is you either take a unit of 5 or a unit of 9. So you take a few extra Space Marines for some wounds, and then you pop in maybe like a chaplain or a captain for the rerolls. That's the thing. But what you want to do is you actually want to, and I'm going to skip to some of the stratagems and just explain to people why you would want to do these things. But in there, you have what they call squad doctrines in the Ultramarines, and it's 1 CP. So you come out of the drop pod turn 1 with the Devastator Doctrine turned on. Oh, you couldn't use it because you'd be changing the doctrine. Yeah, so the Devastator Doctrine gives you -1 to the AP of a weapon. But what you can do is if you want to increase your chances of hitting, you can switch that for 1 CP. So you come out of the drop pod and you've no minuses to hit. So you can move with your ranged weapons. You can hit non-threes, reroll on 1s, and then if you're using gravitic amplification from the Space Marine Codex, which is 1 CP, you're re-rolling all of your to wound rolls as well as the damage rolls. So that's like 2 CPs for an Alpha Strike, which is pretty brutal. which is quite interesting. But the really interesting combo, what about the relics from the Space Marine book? Like, I know you've been building a few lists, but have you seen that that relic? Oh, it's not even in the Space Marine book. It's actually a relic or it's a special issue war gear. So let me read this one to you, if I can find it. So it's called, I believe, it's called Special Issue War Gear, right? And it's the Ultramarines and their successors have the ability to take this one. So Seal of Oath, that's what it's called. At the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, select one enemy unit, right? You with me so far?
Listening.
Yeah. You can re-roll hit rolls and wound rolls for attacks made by models in friendly Ultramarine or successor units against that enemy unit while you're within 6 inches of that model with that relic. What do we think to that? So that's pretty much the old Reboot Gilliman stratagem. So you get that for free.
Well, what that is that's a captain and a lieutenant in a relic.
Is that right? No, it's actually, it says here, so you can give one of the following special issue.
No. What I'm saying is that's the ability that it is. So basically, Gilliman re-rolls all hits and re-rolls of 1. So a captain re-rolls 1s to hit, and a lieutenant re-rolls 1s to wound. So what that relic is, in a nutshell, is it is a captain and a lieutenant in a relic.
Yeah. But this is re-roll all hits and all wounds.
Oh, isn't it just 1s, mate?
No.
It says all hits and all wounds within 6 inches.
Interesting one.
Read it out again, mate.
The wording on it, Sean, is it all failed to hit and to wound?
No, Darren. It's just simply at the start of the first battle round, before the first turn begins, select one enemy unit.
Oh, yeah, but it's only one enemy unit, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's one. But listen, so you can re-roll hit rolls and wound rolls for attacks made. So that's pretty much everything. Now,
so you kill the thing, yeah.
Yeah, now think about this, right? You come down with your first devastated drop pod. Let's say you're going up against knights. You come down with your first devastated drop pod. You nominate one knight, and you say, right, I'm going to fire, this is the target I'm going to have. And you bring down, let's say, your captain with that relic. So he's going to be within the 6 inches, maybe even have 2 grav units beside him, but you probably wouldn't do that because you'll nominate one. So that's your one. So you come down, so that unit of grav is going to re-roll all of its hits and all of its wounds, right? And then you have your second drop pod come down, and then you give that unit the gravitic amplification, which is going to be 1 point. So you're re-rolling your wounds and your damage.
Okay.
So, run through the profile of a grav cannon.
Oh. Now, let us open up the book. So, grav cannon is actually heavy 4. Am I right, John?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you, mate.
Okay. Well, you're asking me on the spot. So, a grav cannon.
It's heavy 4, -1, strength 5.
Yeah.
Anything 3+, if your save is 3+ or better,
it's D3 damage.
-3?
Yeah. No, it's D3 damage, is it not, Darren?
Sorry, D3 damage, that's it. Yeah, that's correct. But it's D3 damage, though, in general.
I thought that's only if your armor is -3.
Let's look at the book. Let's read it out. That's the easiest thing, right?
That's it. As you can tell, guys, I'm not a Space Marine player. I am Chaos or Xenos.
Right. They have a lot here. So we've got the grav. Where am I? But it's a heavy grav cannon, isn't it?
It is a heavy grav cannon, that's correct.
Right. We have heavy onslaught Gatling, plasma. Where is it hidden?
But look, the grav guns are really good.
Well, I'm questioning whether they are really good. That's what I want to know.
Oh, here we are. So it's a grav cannon, grav amp. So it's 24 inches, heavy 4. It's strength 5, -3, 1 damage. When resolving an attack with this weapon against a unit with a save characteristic of 3+, right? This weapon has a damage characteristic of D3 for that attack.
But it's strength 5, right?
It's strength 5, Darren. Or sorry, John. Yes.
See, my issue with that is, right, so your target you need to go after
Yeah.
is a big target, right? You've got to go after a big target because you want it to have a good save. Because it has a good save, it does the D3 damage rather than 1 damage, right? So let's call it a knight, right? Just for instance, maybe a knight's a bit of a hardcore target for it. Okay, let's not call it a knight. Let's call it a tank of some sort. Let's call it not a Lehman Russ. That's a bit harsh. I suppose it isn't. So let's call it a Lehman Russ, for instance. Lehman Russ is toughness 8.
You're taking out a Lehman Russ a turn, like it's done.
But are you?
Yeah.
But are you really? No, I don't think you are.
I am. Darren, would you say we took on something worthy of a Lehman Russ?
Yeah, unfortunately he did.
Deleted
He
turn
did very well with it.
So
the thing is, John, what you're doing is you're putting in 16. You're not even putting in 16 shots. You're actually putting in 20 shots because you've got your 5 points to reload one of the grav cannons again. And don't forget, you've also got your signum.
So 20 shots, right? So 20 shots.
8 hits on 2s.
No, hits on 4s because it's a heavy weapon.
Yeah, but if you're using a command point to get it down.
To get it down to what? So
you're basically firing so if you can use the signum that gives you +2, but you're coming out with any weapons, so you're hitting on 3s. Or what you can do is you can spend a command point.
That's only one gun.
Yeah, but that one gun could be firing twice.
So that's 8 shots from one guy hitting on 3s.
Yeah.
Right? And re-rolling all hits, right? We're saying on this, is that right?
Re-rolling. So if you use gravitic amplification, you're re-rolling all of your wound rolls.
Okay, so we're saying that this unit doesn't have that. So we're saying this unit has that, right? So it hits. So we use the cherub. So one of the guns is going to shoot twice. So it's going to get 8 shots, right?
Yeah.
So and it's hitting on 3s rather than 4s because of this cherub, right?
Yeah.
So then it's going to hit. So it's going to hit.
Let's say you forget the cherub. Let's just go with it's hitting.
That's
on
4 shots then.
No. So you got your cherub. Your cherub just lets you re-roll. You're thinking of the signum that improves your ballistic skill, right?
Okay, so because normally they're going to be hitting on 4s because they're a heavy weapon. Their cannon's moving because they get out of the thing, right?
Yeah.
So they're hitting on 4s. So if they've got and is this guy going to shoot twice, right? He's going to shoot twice.
But he's hitting. Yeah, but he's going to hit in 3 because the signum's in the squad.
So one of the guys is going to have 8 shots, right? Is that correct? So one of the guys is going to have 8 shots. He's also the guy that's going to be hitting on 3s rather than 4s, right?
Correct.
So he gets 6 hits, okay?
Yeah.
So he gets 6 hits against this Lehman Russ, okay? Then of those 6 hits, he then needs to wound on 5s, right? But he's re-rolling all wounds, right? He's re-rolling all wounds, okay? So of that, so first of all, he gets 2 of those through.
Yeah.
Because he gets 6 hits, so 2 of them gets through. He re-rolls the other 4 and then gets another 1. Right? Or maybe it is actually 1.5. But let's call it 2. So he gets 4 through in all, right? It's -1, right? Or what's it minus?
3.
It's -3. Okay, so of those 4, let's say Lehman Russ
does -4 now.
Okay, so
you've got
because it's the doctrine. Okay, so the Lehman Russ makes no saves, so 4 goes through from that, right? And this is this one re-rolling damage?
Yeah, you can re-roll damage if you want to.
Okay, so it's going to be slightly above average. So if it's let's say they get 2 all of them, so that's 2, 4, 6. So that's 8 wounds. You're not gonna you're basically gonna call it that because you're not gonna reroll with 2 wounds. You're gonna reroll 1 wound, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe that gives you an extra 1. So maybe that does 9 wounds from that then. Okay, so it does 9 wounds from that guy. Yeah. The others though. So the other guys have how many other guys you're gonna have shooting?
You're gonna have another 12 shots.
Another 12 shots. So of those other 12 shots, they're not hitting on 3s. They're hitting on 4s.
Yeah.
Right. So 6 of them hit, right? And then of those 6, then they're wounding on 5s. So 2 of those wound. Then you re-roll them all because you're still re-rolling those, right?
Mm-hmm.
So re-rolling them for another one, so 3, call it 3 this time because we went up on the last one, so we'll go slightly down this one. So 3 go through. Then of those 3, then you're doing 2 damage on each, so then 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So, yeah, so on average dice, it just about kills a Leman Russ with all the rolls. Just about.
But what you could do, John, right, is you could spend 1 command point, right, that squad could have the tactical doctrine. So you lose the -1 AP to the weapon, so it has a 6-up save. But then what you would have is your 8 shots will be hitting on 2s, and the rest of your 12 would be hitting on 3s. And you'd still be re-rolling with the gravitic amplification. So that would actually be the way to do it if you really wanted to kill, a repulsor or something.
Yeah. Okay.
And then on top of that, your other squad on the other side, right? Now, let's say you're going up against a knight. He's probably...
So that tactical doctrine, sorry to interrupt, tactical, can you do that straight away?
You can, because it's an out-of-sequence one. So basically...
So you can use a stratagem to make it do that, basically.
Yeah, so that's your first unit. Then you've got the other unit that you can use the relic with. So even though you've basically got the other unit which has the relic, so it's coming out and it's doing the same, except this time it's re-rolling all hits, re-rolling all wounds, right? But you don't get to re-roll your damage, and it's
hitting on 4s,
and that's hitting on 4s. So I don't know how the maths works out in that one, but you're probably not going to be far off.
No,
you do as much damage though.
You won't do as much damage, but it's because it's re-rolling. So because you're on 4s, is it still that's going to be like 12 shots? Is that 12 shots? That one?
Well, it's going to be 8 shots at 3 and 12 shots at 4s.
So how many shots? What is one still get a buff then for his? Does the
because you're going to have a signum in the other squad, right? Like each squad has a signum and a cherub. I think that's
okay. Well, that's the one that does the business, though, isn't it? Because that's the one. That one will do work still. Because if he's hitting on 3s, re-rolling, that means that his 8 shots suddenly become very accurate. Because that means he only probably drops 1 or 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Which then suddenly means he's like getting 7 through, and then he's re-rolling the wounds as well. So then he's suddenly becoming a bit more nasty, and you're still going on the average wounds of being 2 because it's D3.
Yeah.
So yeah, fair enough. I'll take that. So they are capable of dealing with toughness 8 then.
Yeah, but the really interesting one that I like that I'm looking at is actually the executioners, because if you look at the executioner tanks, and I know you think they're very points heavy. Right.
Too expensive.
Yeah, but if you mix that in with the executioner tanks, right, you're getting 2d6 plasma shots, right? Re-rolling to hit if you put someone like Gilliman there, or if you have that relic, you're re-rolling to hit and wound, and that's totally forgetting like the Gatling cannons and all the other weapons that it has in it as well. And I really like that. I think that's what you do is you actually take a drop pod and you put 1 unit in with the grav, so that comes down turn 1, and then you have a mobile fire base. If you get first turn and you're up against knights and they can't hide it, you got I think it's a 30-inch range that you're going to be hitting with these strength 9 plasma weapons, 2 damage apiece.
And so you're not taking the big cannon then?
Sorry?
You're not taking the big cannon?
But the problem is, right, you take the big cannon, even with rerolls, if you're getting lucky or you're going up against a knight and they've got an armor save, right, they're going to, let's say you just save 2 of those cannons. At a minimum, those cannons are going to do 3 damage with a potential 6. So you're doing between 3 and 6. If you hit, you wound, and then they fail their save. Now, most Chaos Knight players are probably going to take the relic that give it the 4-up invuln, or they're going to rotate the Ryon shields or something like that. So the way I look at it is, well, I'd rather take the macro plasma cannons, because what this army will probably really struggle with is large amounts of numbers. So I take Gilliman, I take a chaplain, and then this is before you even get into, if you take the chaplain with the relic that lets you re-roll wounds, you could actually take the chaplain with the relic, so re-roll hits, re-roll wounds, and then try and cast, is it a litany? What's the power he casts?
Yeah,
so litany. You cast +1 to wound.
It's only it has to be the closest target, the re-roll to wound one. That's the only thing with the wound one.
Yeah, but you're putting him in a drop pod.
Yeah, no, it doesn't work in a drop pod. It has to be like you have to do it at the beginning of the turn, so it happens before the drop pod comes down.
Oh, what? It's at the very start of the turn, not mid.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
So
so you
you
can't.
can't do it that turn. But people are saying the way to do it is you put a jump pack on him.
Can he come in turn 1 then?
Well, it's not the fact that he comes in; it's the fact that you deploy him and then he
Oh yeah.
jumps forward. So he does the litany and then he jumps forward like 14. You can make him run as well.
Does he
Like,
have to be near the unit that's coming in?
well, if you want him to be, his litanies affect
Yeah.
units within 6 inches of him.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. Right.
So you,
Okay.
so you would,
I
you
don't. I
would
actually. I haven't. I need to reread those litanies. But that was the thing I was thinking. Maybe put.
litanies are great, aren't they, Darren? You love a litanies, right?
Yeah, look, they are absolutely brutal.
When you roll 3+ every turn, they're great, right?
But the thing is, you would save a command, wouldn't you, for them?
So a couple of questions directed for yourself. So Sean is right. You can use the strat to ignore moving and firing, and then the other thing was what are the points cost of the units, and the maths.
The units are
the
like. I think
plasma.
they're. Let me get my phone. I literally have one in my list.
Carry on, Darren.
And then the other one was the maths favour the plasma, I think, against most targets. And then
Yeah.
chaplains are amazing now.
Chaplains
are
amazing.
absolutely friggin' off the chart, really, really, really good.
Skeletor is a boss.
You're going to see more and more of these Skeletors reappearing all across the battlefield, because what they offer and what they can do is just absolutely crazy. I think it's probably. I think we're going to see him pretty much in most armies. That's my prediction.
Right.
I could be wrong.
Let me give you the points. So drop pod is 65 points with a Stormbolter, and the Devastator squad is 150 points. So all in with a minimum. That's with the Armorium Cherub. I think that's how you pronounce it. So you're probably looking at what, like 215 points for that, and that's deleting units. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. You're gonna have if you get really lucky, you're gonna do a lot of damage on a big target. If you roll poorly, you're just gonna be sitting there in front of them. So if you really want to guarantee you're getting rid of someone, I'd probably drop down 2 units side by side. You don't even have to get that close with 24 inches. You can drop into cover.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. You could drop into cover.
It's gonna die. They're gonna die afterwards, aren't they?
That's the thing.
I think the thing is, right, what will happen is GW will let this happen for a couple of months, and then they'll probably put the price of the drop pod up, which...
To be honest, I don't think it's that bad, mate. I don't think it's that bad, because you're spot on, but there is an awful lot of units in the game that can drop in and can kill something reliably.
And they do die.
And that's the thing, they are 1 wound Marines with a 3-up save.
Yeah.
Like, they are like, so you're talking
Glass
about, so it's 250 points. So, right, 250 points, it's got to make sure that.
They're only 250 points.
So it's got to get that back. So, a Lehman Russ, like, I don't know how much a Lehman Russ is, but like we were just talking about, I don't know how much that comes up to that points. And that's the thing, it's always around, like, what's the sacrifice? Because, like you say, like, once they've done their job and they've killed that target, because look, they ain't going to kill a knight. They're not going to kill a knight. Right. Well,
they're going to dent a knight big time.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're going to do the same amount of damage, basically. I mean, the only difference is, obviously, we're bearing in mind that the knight's going to have a 5-up invuln, so, like, some of those saved, so it's going to save some of those. But
So this is the interesting part. So I was doing the math then with the plasma, and like you really hurt. Like, if you roll well on this is the thing with the macro plasmas, right? If you roll like a 4, you're just unlucky. But this list that I'm trying to work is probably a bit of a glass hammer. Like, you could come down, and if you get first turn, you could do a lot of damage really, really quickly. And I like the fact you can have like Gilliman, the Intercessors, the Chaplain, and Tigerius in the repulsors. So there's 6 in the 2 plasma executioners. So not the plasma executioners, the repulsor executioners. So you can actually spend a strat. I think it's about 2-3 points if you really need to before the first turn. So either you're going first, so you suddenly move everything up right to the top of your deployment, or let's say someone drops in with like 3 of these new tactical suits or whatever is in your deployment zone. You can just move it anywhere in your deployment zone. You just get it out of there. So you're moving Gilliman, the 2 repulsors, and the 2 intercessor squads, and at a danger. You're just like, I don't want that first turn. Like, they're going to charge me.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, do you really want first turn?
Don't really know. To be fair, I probably haven't played enough of the game to know really what's working in ITC. But I mean,
because you've got the flexibility of being able to hit them on your terms.
That's the thing. That's what I like.
But I would suggest that favours a second turn rather than the first turn. I personally, so I mean, we'll concentrate on the Ultramarines and your style at the moment because I think it's really interesting. But my thing is, I think Marines are a counter offensive army. I think they're all about hitting back these days.
Yeah.
That's where I see them. That's where I see their strength.
But do you not think it's such a good book that you can have multiple options and different ways of doing things?
I think that's the best thing about it. I think that's why it is probably, I would say, and I've had it for now a week or just over a week. I would say it's the strongest book. Not as in raw strength, but as around the pure flexibility of the book and what you can do. I think it's the best book that we've had in 8th edition.
Yeah, it plays to the player's style, right?
Exactly. There is enough option in there that you can go, well, I like to play in this way, so that's how I'm going to play. And there's a list there and a build for you, and that's incredibly good. That's what we want. There is definitely not a one build wonder. There's loads in there.
And the thing I like about that list, right, not to bang on about it, is if from turn 2, if I've got turn 1, right, those executioners with the squads in them and Gilliman, they're on the move. They're moving 10 inches. Gilliman's moving, he's advancing, and they're still moving and firing their weapons twice. And don't forget, behind that, I've also got 20 Primaris Marines moving up the board, firing twice. I've not got 20. I've got 30. I've got 32 Primaris Marines in it. So similar to my Death Watch army. But the problem with the Death Watch army was you struggled in the sense that they couldn't move. They were just like a fire base that would jump across the board potentially, set up somewhere else, and then you just have to stand and shoot. Whereas these guys with Gilliman are going to be moving, counting as if they're stationary. So the tanks are firing twice, and they're firing twice at -2. And then that's not like you can start spending other stratagems whereby I think what's that stratagem though with the bolt guns where you can fire is it fire twice?
It makes them. It depends what rounds you take basically. So if you're taking the standard bolt rifles, it changes them from rapid fire 1 to rapid fire 2, which means that which means that if they're either stationary or within half distance, they have 4 shots apiece.
Yeah. Oh, is it veteran intercept? No, it's not veteran intercessors.
Not anymore. So you've got obviously veteran intercessors as well, which basically gives you an extra leadership and an extra attack.
Yeah.
But these stratagems to give them extra shots used to be they used to be part of the Vigilus book. So I've been using them for a while, but now they're available to everybody. So they're interesting.
There's one stratagem, is it in the Space Marine book that you can use, and it's once per game, and it basically turns your intercessors into super intercessors.
What? No, that's the veteran one. So that's the one that gives them extra attack, extra leadership. Yeah, is that what you mean? So you've got lots of different ones. So there's the intercessor really got a massive buff because there's a huge amount of stratagems that are factored around intercessors. So they're an incredibly good. They were quite good before, but now they're the buffs that they've got are pretty spectacular. You team them up with the doctrines as well, and a unit of 10 intercessors, when they're within, they haven't moved or they're in rapid fire range, are putting out 4 shots each, 10 of them. You know,
Yeah, that's no joke.
That's 40 shots. They're with something that allows them to obviously do any rerolls, or they've got any other buffs in there. And if they're in the tactical doctrine, that's -2.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal, isn't it?
That's enough to chew through some pretty heavily armed targets.
And that's what I like with Gilliman then, because then they're re-roll to hits and re-roll ones to wound. I mean, they'll shred troops, but they'll struggle with like bigger targets. But at that stage, you're just trying to close the gap, aren't you?
Yeah, but you think is with 40 shots, you'll even be surprised. They'll chew through toughness 7. They'll even take a chip out of toughness 8 because they're strength 5 rather than 4. So still winning on 5s rather than 6s.
And that's massive.
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
That is massive. So HQ, Sean, for yourself at the moment, then. So you're still sticking with Gilly.
Yeah. I think.
And then who
Gilly,
else we've thrown in the mix with Gilly?
Sorry. So I'm going to take.
So who else are you throwing in the mix with Gilly?
I'm going to take Tigirius. So there is another relic that you can take that basically it knocks. It's a bit like the assassin, but you basically knock psychers within 18 inches. You can spend 1 command point to get an extra 1, but it knocks psychers. The way it works is it's -2 to cast, and then if you actually fail your cast within 18 inches, you take D3 mortal wounds.
So is this the new Araman?
Yeah, unfortunately.
No. Not you can't take that one. You can't take that in the named character. So I mean, that's just a relic I'm looking at. But I don't think it's as strong as the rerolls to hit and wound against one target the first turn. I think that's good. But if you wanted to take something like, just put it on an ancient or on an apothecary or something like in the middle of the board with the rest. So I think that it makes someone who has a lot of psychic powers think, right, if it's -2 to cast, if you're in that bubble, and then you're also thinking, well, if I fail this, I'm just going to take D3 mortal wounds. So if you failed 1 power, you're probably going to stop and think, wow, I've only got another wound or 2 left. Do I really want to try that again?
Yeah,
now,
sure.
There is one more, which is in the Ultramarines one. This is the one I was thinking about, right? So it's called Tactical Expertise, and it's an Ultramarine stratagem. This is one I really liked. And then we'll talk about rapid deployment. I like that one as well. So it says, use this stratagem at the start of your movement phase. If the tactical doctrine is active, which it will be on turn 2, right, until the start of your next battle round, made with a rapid or assault weapon, so you've got aggressors in there as well, by an Ultramarines model from your army, an unmodified wound roll of 6 for the armor penetration characteristic of that weapon is improved by an additional 1 for that turn. You can only use this once per game, but that means like 6s are going to be -3.
Sorry, you break up a little bit there, Sean.
Okay, so there's a stratagem that you can take once per game, and it basically allows you to add -1. So it's like exploding 6s, except it'll make the weapon go from -2. So you need tactical, you need the tactical doctrine active. It's 2 CP, but basically all of your models that are firing bolt weapons, so even tanks, depending on what they have, they get +1, -1 on a 6. So a bolt rifle with tactical doctrine will go from -2 to -3.
That's horrible.
Yeah. And that's turn 2.
I suppose it depends on what army you're going up against, right? It's like if you're going up against like other Marines and things like that, that's really cool. Space Marine troops, that's really cool. If you're going up against like a Horde army like Orcs and that, then not really.
Yeah, not really. But I mean, you're going to use it. You could probably save those CPs for something else. But I thought that was a good one. And then the other one that I really like, just for that like mobile elite list, if you did want to play it, it's called Rapid Deployment. It's 2 CP, but I think this could like either get you, if you're going first and you do this just before the battle round, and someone doesn't know about it, you're going to really get in front of them quickly. So it says, at the start of the battle round, before the first turn begins, select up to 3 Ultramarine units from your army on the battlefield, remove them from the battlefield, and set them up again as described in the deployment section of the mission. Now, if both players have the ability to do this, you roll off and then you choose. But it's not a very common one. But the fact is, you can do that just before the first battle round. So if you get seized on, you can just move them behind cover or line of sight.
That's naughty.
Or if you go first and they don't seize, you could then spend those points and suddenly push them right up to get them in range.
Yeah, sure. And that's pretty cool.
And then what was the other one? There's another one that I like as well, but it's called Defensive Focus. Use this stratagem after an Ultramarines unit from your army is chosen as the target of a charge, right? Select up to 3 friendly Ultramarine units that are more than 1 inch away from the enemy and within 6 inches of the targeted unit. Then all the units can overwatch as if they were being charged.
That's pretty cool. See, there is another strat in there that I don't know if you've already mentioned it, because I had to quickly just pop out for 2 seconds, and that was the strat that's similar to the Chaos Knights, where you can make things having to wound. So something that's got like really good damage on troops, you can slap it down, and it then turns them. You can only wound them on 4, 5s, and 6s.
Ooh.
And that's like the Space Marine one.
Yeah, so not a bad one, that one.
That's not a bad one at all. That's a really good one. So if you do have, I'm just trying to think what would be a really good one. So like if you were going up like against another Space Marine list, and they've got the plasma cannons, plasma guns being shot at you, that could be really good against that. Or if you're going up against Tau, and you've got some units that are coming up really close, and we all know how good Tau are at shooting, right? Straight away that's going to be absolutely really strong against that. I think that's absolutely awesome. Does it work in combat as well, John?
Yep, it works in every phase. You just choose it. You have to use it in. So it only works to the end of the phase, but you can use it in any phase.
But you see, like even if you go up against you're unfortunate and you get Gene Stealers in your back doors. That's a really good strat, even just for that on its own, right?
It's amazing.
That's crazy.
It's amazing. It is. I think it's one of the best stratagems in the book.
We actually, here's one for you, John. We want to ask, and there is a caveat because we did it in the battle report, but there is one, and it's called Martial Precision, and you might have seen this being put around. But it basically it's 1 CP, but you don't roll to hit. You automatically hit. So me and Darren looked at that, and we were like, okay, it makes sense. You wouldn't fire all of the weapons on a tank, right? But what happens if you're firing a weapon that has multiple shots? Does that make sense? Does all the weapon hits, or is it a case of you only get 1 shot from that weapon that hits and then you roll the rest of them? Do you want me to read it out to you?
Let's do that.
Right, it says, use this stratagem before resolving an attack made by an Ultramarines model from your army in your shooting phase. When resolving that attack, do not make a hit roll. It automatically scores a hit. So do you think for multiple weapons, there's a lot of the as and that? So it's like if you fire a last cannon, it's 1 hit. If you fire,
that's all. Yeah, that's everything. So basically, what an attack is a weapon profile, if you like.
Yeah.
So that's because basically you do that attack and then you do another weapon, and that's that attack. So yeah, that's how it is. That's how it works. So it will be choose a weapon, and that weapon doesn't roll to hit.
Interesting.
So if you're using like a Gatling cannon, that's 12 shots or whatever, all hit. Nice.
There's an interesting one in here that's just for word bearers. I like when they put one in there that
against word bearers. Yeah, the fluffy ones.
Basically called Vengeance for Celt. Kind of like it. Use the stratagem when an Ultramarines unit from your army is chosen to fight within the fight phase until the end of that phase. When resolving an attack made with a melee weapon by a model in the unit against a word bearer's unit, you can re-roll the hit roll and you can re-roll the wound roll. It's quite nice. 1 CP, but
Well, I tell you what, that is never happening because no one's playing World Bearers because they're not very good. So,
I
You
know.
just took the words right out of my mouth.
you can forget about seeing that because that is never going to be seen ever, ever, ever.
It's
So,
nice to have that fluff, though. I like that.
yeah, okay.
So
Well, good luck. Good
they're
luck
the kind
finding
of
someone that plays World Bearers.
they're the big ones. Is there anything that you would like to meet? I mean, they have special issue war gear in the Ultramarines book. I mean, it's again give this relic, and you get on a D6 you get feel no pain. That's the adamantium mantle. Then you can have artificer armor and mastercrafted weapon, and that's where the seal of oath is hidden in there. I was reading these, I was like, these aren't really interesting at all, and then I was like, wow, that's pretty good for
Yeah.
1 point. Or no, it's free, isn't it? Because you can have special issue war gear or a relic, 1 relic for free,
Mm-hmm.
and then you could take 2. The other one that I really liked was the one that allows you to. Um, let me have a look at this one. Where is it? The Helm of Censure. So when resolving an attack, that's not it. Terminator Ancient.
So when a Space Marine's been told off, and he has to wear the red helm of censure. So basically, in a nutshell, you're the Ultramarines for yourself at the moment. There's some really, really cool toys in the Ultramarines. That's the main thing, right?
Yeah, you can get away. I think there's a couple of things that you can do, that are really interesting. I gotta say.
No, that's cool. So, John, obviously, you've had a chance to have a little dabble in the world of Space Marines now.
Mm-hmm.
And what's been your take on
them? Well, at the risk of kind of repeating a little bit, obviously there is a massive amount of flexibility there. I really like a lot of the chapters, and obviously they're only likely to get better as we see more and more of their supplements coming out. But my take at the moment, I suppose my takeaway is that I think the biggest game changer is that I think Horde is dead versus Marines. I took now again we're not going to go into details of our game because we've got another game coming up as well you'll get to see very soon, but Crimson Fists and Imperial Fists are absolutely death to Horde, like exploding 6s to hit, and the ability to be +1.
Are they bolt weapons though?
Bolt weapons, yeah. But that's what you're taking, mate. That is what you're taking because there are so many great bolt weapons.
Do
like
Aggressors get it?
Yep.
Even the Storm Gauntlet, yeah?
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
The thing is,
So-
this is what Marines is all about, right? And it's all about the bolters. And it's so cool to see, the bolters being as good as they are in the fluff.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, though. So my takeaway unit is Interceptors. My God, they're good. Like Bolter Interceptors. Like you can get hold of these guys. They're not hard to get hold of. There's quite a few of them still knocking around. They still come in the starter set that's still available. Get these guys. Get them. They are insane. They're so good.
The ones from dropped from space.
Yep. They are mental.
And it's the fact that the amount of shots they drop down, and then all the other stuff that goes with it, is they are just so many shots coming out of them. Like at one point,
go on.
So at one point you had them come down, -2, and they were just literally you could just delete, a unit with them. They're just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so the thing is that on paper they're not quite as good as aggressors, but the big difference is they have the tactical ability to be wherever you want them to be, which is a huge bonus. Because the thing with aggressors is, yes, you can put them in transport, but you can only actually put, like, 4 in a transport?
If you eat 3 at most, because they're 2 apiece.
Yeah, so you can only...
Yeah,
exactly. So you can only really... Yeah. So you can't really protect aggressors very easily. You can hide them, but you're still... And yes, they can run and still shoot, which is great. But where you want aggressors is you want them standing still. When they stand still, they become, like, incredibly powerful. The difference with interceptors, they just come down when you want them to. They've got the range to just hit what they want to. And man alive, those things, with the fact that they have an inherent -1 to hit. So that means when you've got them in the assault doctrine, they're -2, not -2 to hit, but -2 AP. Sorry. And the fact as well is they're not strength 4 bolters; they're strength 5 bolters. They are, like, literally insane. Like, they are no joke. And now, they were 2 wounds each. Now they're 3 wounds. The difference between 2 wounds and 3 wounds is significant, because there's a lot of weapons that are 2 damage.
Haven't they gone up in toughness as well?
No, they've not gone up in toughness. They were always toughness 5, because they're in Gravis armor.
Oh, okay.
But they are insane. So that's my first takeaway. So if you haven't got those guys,
if you take those aggressors in an ultramarine army, they get this rule called Scions of Guilliman, which is the ultramarine tactic, and it basically says, while the tactical doctrine is active, models with this ability that moved in your movement phase but did not advance or fall back, so just normal movement, can make attacks with ranged weapons in the following shooting phase as if they had remained stationary. So if you take aggressors in an ultramarine army with the tactical doctrine active, you're moving and shooting every turn twice.
The problem with that is a still relatively short range.
Agreed. Totally.
So they are still going to be, particularly if your opponent has any sense and realises just how much damage those boys do, they're target number 1, so they're dead. They're dead. I mean, like, look, how many times have I played you, Darren, or whoever, and, like, as soon as you put aggressors on the table, it's like, right, I need to kill the aggressors. So the aggressors, like, literally, I mean, the great thing is, because of the new Space Marine rule, they can now actually do very, very well in combat, because they've all got power fists, so they're no slouches in combat, but I still don't think you bring them as a combat unit, and those guys are just getting picked on, because they still need line of sight, they're still relatively short range. I still think you want them in your army, because I think they're amazing, but I personally favour the interceptors, because the interceptors just do what they want. They're just like, you want to be over there? I'll be over there.
No, that's it.
Like,
so a couple of comments in the chat. So obviously going back to with Sean's list, definitely Glass Hammer. The new Marine Codex is very strong, but I would fear Avenger Gatling cannons. Yes, Gatling cannons can be very good. G-Man, go in a tank. Thought he was a monster. No, you're right. Gilliman cannot go into any transport because he is classed as a monster, and it also means he can't go up through ruins as well. Tigris Tiggy is absolutely a bit overpowered now, and G-Man definitely isn't getting in a tank. Blood Angels especially.
The only thing with Tiggy that's interesting is the Space Marine psychic powers and the Ultramarine psychic powers aren't really overpowered. Like, there's nothing in there that's broken that I've seen. And he doesn't have a full save.
Now, would you say that because you're a Space Marine player, or is this...
No, not really. More in the sense, like, I was watching a couple of reviews online, and I was reading a few things on, like, Battle Lost Souls, and I was looking through it, and I was like, 130 points for Primaris he's not a beast in combat. He's gonna, like, his buffing abilities are -1 to hit. The only thing you do is you get 3 psychic powers with him, and then of those, I'll go through them with you. I have them here in front of me. So what you have is where's the Librarius Doctrine? Oh, here we are. The Indominus Discipline. So you've got is it precognition? Precognition. So there's a warp charge value of 5. So he gets +1 to casting. So he's casting it on a 4. And if manifested, then until the start of your next psychic phase, the psychic has a 5+ invulnerable save. When resolving an attack made against the psyker, subtract 1 from the hit roll. So -1 to hit and a 5+ invuln. That's the first power they have. The second one is Squire's Gaze. This is one I actually like. It's a warp charge value of 7, and it says if manifested, if your army is battle forged, you can choose to immediately gain. I like that. I think that's quite a good one. So I take that one. We have the ability to not take the command point, and then anything that was in 18 inches of the cycle, right, or any unit, you can choose to re-roll. Hang on, what does it say? 1 command point. If you choose not to, then once this turn, when resolving an attack made by a model from a friendly Ultramarines unit, whilst this unit is within 18 inches of the psyker, you can re-roll the hit roll, wound roll, or damage. So I suppose, would an attack, John, be like a power sword?
Mm-hmm.
So you get like 5 re-rolls to hit, or maybe wound, or damage? I mean, that's not bad if you cast that in Gilly, but I'd probably take Squire's Gaze just to get the 5 command points back. I think that's probably worth, 100 points in its own. Telepathic Assault, 7, value charge.
So what is he? Is he to cast the psychic spell off? Is he +1 or is he +2?
No, he's +1, I believe.
+1, and can he re-roll his psychic spells if he fails?
Yeah,
I believe he can. Yeah, so that's pretty good.
So that's pretty good. So he's doing that for free. He isn't having to spend any command points doing that. So that's pretty strong.
Yeah, I mean, that's good. So you're going to get 1 command point back. So you're going to take him. I'll take him just for those 5 points, right? But I think we can agree the 5+ invuln, -1 to hit, or giving 1 unit within 18 inches the ability to re-roll a hit, wound, or damage roll is okay. It's not broken so far. Telepathic Assault, you roll 2d6, so it's a value of 7. Pick an enemy unit within 24 inches that is visible to the psyker, roll 2d6, add 2 to the result, and then that unit suffers 1 mortal wound for each point which exceeds their leadership characteristic. So you're adding 2 to 2d6. I mean, that's quite good. I do like that one. That's probably the best one they have. They've got another one that's called, number 4 is Storm of the Emperor's Wrath. You pick a unit, its value is 6 to cast off, and then basically the unit's got to be within 18 inches of them, and you roll a d6 for each model. On a 6, it suffers 1 more. Maybe if you had like 30 boys coming at you and you cast that off 30 dice, you probably kill what, John? Maybe about 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Psychic Shackles is the next one. It's a value of 6, and if manifested, pick a unit within 18 inches of the psyker until the start of your next psychic phase, half the movement characteristic rounding up of the models in the unit, and when a charge roll or an advance roll is made, subtract 1 from the roll. So you can actually half the movement, but if they're within 18 inches, they're probably going to move 4, and then at most they can charge 11 inches. So it's okay.
Yeah.
And then the last one is Empiric Channeling. This is probably a bit useless, but it's a value of 5, and it basically allows you, if you manifest it, select 1 other friendly Ultramarines Librarian model within 12 inches of the psyker until the end of the psychic phase. When the psychic test is taken for that model, add 2 to the total, and that model does not suffer as a peril of the warp on a roll of a double 1 or a double 6. So there's, you've got to select all your psychic powers from 1 discipline. Like the 3 I would go with, because he gets to pick 3. I do Squire's Gaze, I do Telepathic Assault, and I'd probably go for maybe Psychic Shackling or Storm of the Emperor's Wrath. Probably Storm of the Emperor's Wrath is going to be. I don't really know. I just
I'll tell you what though,
yeah
that channeling, like if you build for that, so you build yourself another librarian in there, yeah,
yeah
and that librarian takes that power,
yeah.
so then what he does is he casts that power, yeah,
Mhm.
and so then and he's next to Tiggy, so
Oh yeah,
Tiggy's got +1.
and then you
He
got
then
the
has got
psychic.
+2, so he now
Yeah
has +3, and then you cast Smite,
yeah.
so you're +3 to the Smite, and Tiggy re-rolls. Your chances then of getting the Mega Smite is pretty significant.
So what do you get Mega Smite on?
10
11.
plus. Oh, sorry, yeah, 11. So more than 10.
So you'd be casting it off on an 8 with a reroll.
Yeah, which is then just under. Well, with the re-roll, it's actually probably odds on.
So there's a couple of things there. One, you're going to have to.
D6.1.
I don't. Is it worth another 100 points to try and do that every turn?
Depends. Depends really. Depends what. I mean, I suppose not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean.
And then you fail your first librarian, your weaker one. It fail. I mean, it's only on a 5.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do like it, John. I see where you're going. That's actually an interesting one. I didn't see that one, but I mean, again, Tiggy is good.
Yeah, it's quite situational.
Yeah, Tiggy's good for his points because he's coming in at 130 points. He's giving you potentially 5 command points a game.
And that's in his Primaris armor as well now, right?
Yeah.
Does he only come in Primaris armor now?
He only comes in Primaris armor. So what you got is you got someone who's going to be reliably casting off these powers. So each game he's probably going to have a semi-decent game. He's going to do well, or he's going to have an average game because you're casting off things like Smite, getting your command points back, which will help you. And then he'll probably be doing a couple of mortal wounds, 3, maybe a bit more if he's going for, if he gets Mega Smite, if he gets that. But the thing is, you put anyone in combat with him, like a Demon Prince, and he's gone.
Then you've done it wrong though, haven't you? Because he's hanging around with G-Man, and if Demon Prince is picking on Tigurius, he's forgotten the fact that G-Man's about to pump him for Emperor's Sword. For me, he's probably worth those points. I think he's worth those points just for giving one unit -1 to hit.
Yeah, that is good.
That's super strong. Like -1 to hit is a big deal.
Do you know what he's like, John? He's a bit like the Elder. When the Elders start doing some crazy stuff and they're like, okay, +1 to you, -1 to hit this guy. Yeah. Plus then we'll have a chaplain there as well. He's going to give you +1 to wounds. Here's all your weapons. You're going to explode in 6s, going to be -3. That's where it all starts kicking in. It kind of reminds me a bit like AdMech. You've got to remember a lot of rules to really play it effectively.
Yeah, he's not auto-include, but he's good.
Yeah. I even like
take him. You're gonna, he ain't gonna let you down. That's.
He's not gonna let you down. His points make him a safe bet. Like you're not busting the. I suppose so. Just to kind of go back a little bit to where we were before, because obviously we're starting to go on a little bit now. We need to kind of call it a night at some point. But the other thing that I wanted to kind of just highlight and talk about was the strength that Marines have in combat. That was the other thing that really shocked me, how the extra attack really because some of the profiles have been given an additional attack, but then that combines with the fact that Marines also get an extra attack when they charge, when they've been charged, or when they heroic intervene, and that can mean that some of the characters have got like 6-7 attacks when their first round of combat. That's crazy. That is no joke.
John,
that is no joke.
Even charging them is like brutal.
But that's what I mean. Like literally, these guys.
Darren's Paladin Sons with like 3 attacks. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah, and bear in mind that also what you can do is you can then make your intercessors veteran intercessors. If you make them veteran intercessors, they get another attack. So that means they then have like 4 attacks on the charge and 5 for the sergeant. That's like that's ridiculous. That's orc levels of attacks from Marines. Yeah. And then you pair it with the fact that they've got a fair bit of stability and a fair bit of survivability. Then they're actually a unit an army that can actually go toe to toe with a lot of combat armies, and that for me was a big surprise because I did not expect Marines to be able to do well in combat, and I
Yeah.
found that they were
I mean, Terminators
surprisingly well.
like what? Like your Terminator Sergeant's going to have 3 attacks basic. He's going to have 4 attacks, man. That's going to be crazy. At
Yeah, I
that
think
level,
Terminators become more viable.
But the thing is, it makes Marines now scary again.
but there's 2 things I want to throw out there on that, right? So the first one is we don't really know what's coming next. Like you just don't know if this is a second wave.
You're 100% right, Sean. It's like, the codex has come out. It's the top don at the moment.
Yeah.
The next codex, whatever it may be, whether it be Elder, whether it be Tau, it's going to be even more powerful. It's going to be the codec creep.
We have like
I don't want to break it to you guys, but we've got weeks and weeks of Marines yet, so I won't worry about that because we have got another 6 or 7 mini dexes to come down the line before we probably see anything else. So
wow, that's going to be.
Oh no, 100%. But like, however you look upon it, like the one beautiful thing that we have come across with GW at the moment, if something is a bit overpowered, they are FAQing it, or they are doing something to at least try to bring it back into balance.
So this leads on to my next point. I just want to throw that out there. I was thinking today, like, oh man, they'll probably just put the points up on drop pods. I think that's what they might do if they're too strong. And then I was like, well, it's not just drop pods that are out there. There's a couple of units that can actually come in and like devastate certain units and armies. And then I was thinking, why don't they just do what they did when they had like, the issue with going first and they had prepared positions? Why didn't they give everybody a stratagem for like 2-3 points that if someone, goes to alpha strike you, you have the ability, if you have the points, to just attack back with 1 unit?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think drop pods are that good. Like, so I just don't. I think that there's a strong argument to say, like, 2 in a list has got some flexibility, and like even if you kind of put nothing in them and just go, well, there's my line breaker, you try and stop me.
Yeah.
Because unless you're going to keep your whole army like zoning them out on the last turn of the game, which is not going to happen, you've got line breaker guaranteed.
Yeah.
There's certain things that within the missions are going to be really handy to have them, but there's also a lot of stuff. So, for instance, like combat units, what they want to do is they want to hug stuff.
Oh man, we have this in our game.
You just hug them, and then go when you want. Like
you can't shoot a combat unit.
It's a beautiful thing. Like literally, like if people go right, I'm going to buy 5 or 6 drop pods, and you go against an assault army, you go against like a Tyranids, like Kraken Gene Stealers or Gene Stealer Cult or any army that like Orcs that wants to kind of like get up the board nice and safe and sound. Like drop pods, they're like literally foaming at the mouth because it just means they can wrap them. Like literally, they can kill them in their turn, assault, come out when they want to. It's just they're actually quite a dangerous thing. They're also only toughness 6. They're not difficult to kill, so they do give
wipes 1 out of turn.
Yeah, so I mean, like that's the other thing. Like if you go right, I'm going to come in my drop pod, then you go well, okay, well you've just given me first strike guaranteed. Then, like if I'm playing ITC missions, I'm definitely killing something in the first turn of the game because you've given me something I can kill easily. Like there's some real good things about them, but at 60 points a pop or 65 points a pop, they are not OP at all. Like I mean, I think. The only thing that they need to FAQ is they do need to FAQ the stupid doors thing because it's no fun to play in a game where potentially you drop 6 of them and then stop your opponent from moving.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not fun. And if anybody tried to do that to me, I would say, I'll see you at the bar because I'm not playing you because you clearly do not understand what a game is all about. Because that's just not in the spirit of it. But with the exception of that...
In fact, do you know what? They they won't touch the drop pods. I think they'll be fine. Not the doors. I think they'll FAQ the doors, which will be fine.
Yeah.
I think what they'll do is if Grav's too strong with that strat, they'll just put Grav points up. Like a Grav cannon will be 40 points.
Yeah, maybe. But I still think that there's a lot of other things that can do just the same sort of damage as those Grav cannons.
Those tactical suits are incredible.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about it. We won't go into it again, but it's for me, the strongest combo is the Centurions, is Imperial Fist Centurions in the cohort from Siegebreaker cohort from Vigilus, with the new buffs to them, and a chaplain and a captain. Like, literally, that combo is like 24, 25 mortal wounds to a knight without even damage. Like, and that's just 3 of them. It is just like completely and utterly daft.
What's the range of them though? How are you getting them up the board?
Well, what people will do, they were doing it before, they'll definitely do it now, is you deploy them in a bastion on the line. So it means they're safe, because a bastion's still like 20 wounds, toughness 9, something stupid like that. You're not going to shoot the bastion when you've got other things to shoot out. And there's six Centurions. They get out 6 inches, then they move 5 inches, then they're in range, you know. And then you got yourself a problem, because there's only 3 of them for like 250 points, something like that, and they're doing an incredible amount of damage. They die straight away afterwards. But they're not going to die quickly, because they've gone up to 4 wounds now. They've got a 2-up save. Toughness 5. They're no slouches. So that for me, I mean, I won't be playing it because I don't. I'm only doing the Primaris armor, and they're not Primaris armor. But that, I'm telling you, that's filth. That's broken.
Yeah. What about the Thunderfire cannon? Do you like that?
It's good. It's not broken. It's good. Really good.
Just sitting beside, what is it, 4d3, just pumping out.
Yeah, it's not even that. It's just the ability. It's the tremor shells that make it good, because anything that you can mess around with people's movement is
annoys them.
It's just a game winner. If you can stop, if you can slow people down, you can take control of the game. So yeah. But look, guys. The reality is there is so much we could talk about Marines. We could talk about them for hours and hours and hours. So before we kind of finish the show, because I am dying, and I need to go to bed and try and rest, because otherwise I can't seem to be driving to work tomorrow. Before we go though, is there any kind of questions from the chat? We'll take any questions for the last 5 minutes, and then we will call it a day. Whether you've got questions about our up-and-coming tournament, questions about Marines, or if it's just random questions you want to ask any of us, we'll answer those questions now before we call it a day. But for everybody that's tuned in, that's watched, that's listened, or that are listening back as a podcast, we really, really appreciate your time and effort. And if you are listening to this back as a podcast, if you could give us a review and a 5-star rating, that helps more and more people get to listen to the podcast and spreads the word around. So that really helps us loads. If you're watching this on YouTube, or you're watching it back on Twitch, then make sure you give us that thumbs up, and again give us a comment. It helps us loads. And thank you very much. We really, really appreciate it. Any questions, Darren, before we close out?
So we just got to give it a minute or two, just because of the times allowing it. So just wait until next month when you see my berserkers tearing people up at Twisted Dice Tournament. Of course, with that new rule that's come in, that makes berserkers really, really effective. Scarily good. Thunder Fire can fire twice now, as well as a strat to slow down 2 units. Not sure if you had known, John, you have not been on screen the whole show, just to see your arm every now and then. No, if you've missed it, John did. He's not looking his best at the moment. He's not looking very pretty. So he's definitely got a face for the radio.
He's dying at the moment. He's got one gammy eye, and he looks like a mess. So I thought we'd probably try and keep a few viewers So yeah, that's why you haven't seen me tonight. So apologies, but trust me, you're not missing anything. I am literally just dying in my sock, as Darren poetically put at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, the poor fella's got pink eye.
Yeah. I wish I had, because that'd probably be less painful. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm in absolute agony, guys. So apologies if, and it's not a cold. What you can hear in my snuffling is the fact that I'm sobbing and crying like a small baby, because I'm in that much pain. So apologies.
But yeah, that's it. I don't think we've got any more comments. So this is where we're going to end it, guys. Thanks once again for joining us. We really do appreciate it. And you guys are absolutely awesome and legends as always. And hopefully we'll catch you all again next Wednesday. Catch you all again then.
Bye for now.